All right, you guys, let's talk about Instagram and Facebook stories. So I love stories so much. It allows your network and your audience to get to know you on a very personal level. This is where they kind of learn to trust you and know you and what you're all about. And in turn, they're going to see the business opportunity. They're going to see the products that we offer because you're going to be talking about them in your story all the time. But it is just a great way to connect with your audience. So I am going to run through the kind of how-to of story very quickly. One little tip before we jump in, I do connect my Facebook and my Instagram stories. So I make my stories on Instagram and I have it connected to my Facebook so that when I post on Instagram, it automatically posts to my Facebook story. So it just saves a little bit of time there. I do not have my actual posts like on my wall connected between Facebook and Instagram because the algorithm is affected by that. However, on story, it's not. So it's totally fine to connect your Instagram story to your Facebook story. But really, you're just going to be sharing your everyday life, all of the things that are going on in your world, in your story every single day. So let's jump into the how-to. I am going to share my screen and just walk you through some of the features that are available on Instagram story. There used to be apps and there still are apps that you can use to make really pretty stories. However, Instagram really has really nice features now, and so I don't feel like a lot of the apps are even really necessary. So when you pull up your Instagram, you can click on this little plus sign right here, and that is how you can either make a post, you can add your story, you can do IGTV, you can do Reels, which Britt's gonna talk about some of those things, but we're gonna go right here to story. So this is going to bring up your camera. So my phone is face down on a desk, and so that's why it looks like that. So you can see it actually just brings up your story. So you can, from here, you can decide if you wanna, if you just wanna record something on your camera, or if you wanna pull from your camera roll, you will do that right here. Let me talk really quickly about these options that are over here on this side of the screen. So these A's right here are if you just want to do a text, maybe you want to type something inspirational or only a couple hours until a promo ends or whatever. If you just want to use text, that is how you do that. Boomerang is if you want to make a boomerang. So boomerangs are like you hold down the center button and it's just like that 5-second clip where it goes back and forth. You can do boomerang straight on here. You no longer have to have a separate app to do boomerang. Layout is the 4 squares, the 4 boxes. So you can see that you can record that box and then it would open up the next box. The next one is super zoom. So it will it will zoom in on whatever is kind of the focal point of the camera. Hands-free is honestly what we use the most in this in Instagram app for telling a story. So it's essentially hands-free video. So it allows you to take a video and not have to hold your phone. So it will go for 1 minute. So it will go in 4 15-second increments. It will record that long. So a couple things. Once that minute is up, it is up to you if you want to go ahead and post right then, or if you want to save them, go back, add some words, add some GIFs. You can do either way. Usually if it's just kind of a short video, I will add, my words and stuff. But if it's a long video and I do want to add pictures or I want to add GIFs or words, I will save them, go back and edit them all, and then post them at the end. So that is how you do all of the different video features and things like that on Instagram. Now, one thing I do want to show you really quickly is if you see a filter on somebody else's story, you're like, I want that filter. It will be listed right here. This will say their name and it will be listed right here. If you click on that, it will pull up that filter and it will give you the option to try it just one time, save it, so it will be there available every single time you do a story, or you can send it to a friend if you think somebody else would be interested in it. So when I see a filter that somebody else has used that I like, I always save them. And then usually it tells you who the creator is right here. So I will go and check out what other filters they have available as well. So that is how you would add a filter, and those are available down here at the bottom. So these are all the filters that I have saved, along with the extra filters that just come on Instagram automatically. So you can see, you know, it just, whatever kind of look you want, you find a filter that fits that. And then you can always, you can be consistent with that filter, or sometimes you can switch it up. That's totally fine. So I'm going to add to my story, and I'm going to show you the rest of the features just using a picture from my camera roll. So, because that's just going to be easiest. Okay, so we're just going to pull up the first picture that I have on my camera roll, and it looks like this. Okay, so if you pull up a picture and the sizing isn't quite right, you can pinch in and pinch out on the picture to get it exactly where you want it. Now let's go over these, what these are up here. Okay, so these little, the A's are just how you add text to a whatever's on your story. So I'm going to say just my name. Okay, so that is just simple text. Now, if I click on that and I want to edit it, these down here are the different fonts that you can use. So if you just slide over, you can see that those are all the different font options. This A with the little stars by it is how you add a background to the font that you pick. This right here is your color wheel. So it allows you to change the color that your font is. So we're just gonna pick this blue color. Okay, now if you want, you're like, oh, well, I like that, but I want the dark blue on the back. If you hit that A again, it will actually flip-flop the colors that are there. So it'll put the dark blue on the back and the lighter blue on the front. Now, say you're like, I don't really like that shade of blue. What you can do is if you hold down on the blue button, it'll actually bring up this color wheel where you can pick any color that you want. But if you're still not satisfied, what you can do is if you click on this little paintbrush or pencil or pen or whatever this is over here, if you click on that, it'll bring up this little teardrop, and you can actually pull a color directly from the picture. This is 9 times out of 10 when I'm adding words or I'm adding font, I pull directly from the picture because it just makes it very cohesive. It makes it look good. And again, you can, if you're like, well, I like that, but I want the colors switched. If you just click that little A again, it will flip the colors. It'll flip the colors. Okay, so that is how to change the picture on your font and how to add font itself. Now, this little squiggly line here is if you actually want to draw on a picture or you want to write something. So we're going to click on that, and we're just going to go with white, and we're going to say hi. So you can change the size over here on the side right there, just by going up and down like that. The up top here is how you change the tip. So this is just a regular normal tip. This one actually makes it kind of see-through, so you can see how that's a little bit different. And again, that's a thicker tip, so you can change that if you want to. This one is like, it makes it fluorescent. And then there's an eraser if you need to do that as well. Or you can click undo here and it'll erase it also. So that is that. Now, this one here is where honestly all the fun stuff is. So you can click on that and it's going to bring up all the extra options that you see people use on stories. So it has your location. If you click on that, there are different, it'll bring up different options. You can mention people. So, you know, if you want to tag a friend on Instagram or a company, you can definitely do that. Or you can just actually type it at, and it'll bring up their name as well. You can put hashtags on. GIFs is where you probably, most people want to, this is where all the fun stuff is. So these are most popular trending GIFs at the time, or you can also search for GIFs. So if you're like, oh, well, I'm doing a training on my Boss Babes, or I'm doing a meeting, you can actually, I just searched Boss Babe and this came up, and then you can move it around wherever you want it. The only thing I would say is don't spend too much time getting stuck looking for the perfect GIF. Just find one that works, get it on there. The other thing you can do is add music. It will bring up, you know, kind of most common music. You can search for music. If you click on these little arrows over here, it will give you you can actually just listen to a preview without having to add it. And then, so we're just going to say we want this song here. So you can preview it. And then when you add it, if you want to change the part of the song that plays, you can do that as well down here. And then once it's on there, you can just move it to where you want it. The other thing that we do a lot on here is polls. So you can add polls to your story. We do this a lot. We do this a ton on Opportunity, or if you're talking about your coffee and you want to say like, hey, who wants a sample? You can definitely end it with a poll. Now, one recommendation is to always add it with 2 positives. So not yes and no, but maybe heck yes and yes, girl, sign me up, or 2 just kind of positive answers. And then I always put them on an area on my slide that is not going to be where they are actually clicking through. So I usually put it on the left-hand side or in the middle somewhere, but not where people actually tap to get to the next slide. So let's see what else we want. I think that is really probably everything that really we need to talk about on the how-tos. You will get more comfortable with story the more you do it. You will be able to knock out a story or 2 and slides in a couple of minutes. You learn how to flow and it becomes very second nature. But story is an incredible tool to build your business. One other thing that I will show you really quick that I didn't. So this little arrow here is how you actually save it. So if for whatever reason you can't go and you can't, say you just did a video and you can't add the words to it right then or whatever, you can actually save the videos to your camera roll and then come back later and upload them. Now, one other thing